Oh boy, strap yourselves in for this one, folks. It's gonna be a rough one.
Oh yeah!
Hold on, folks. You better buckle your seatbelt.
Hello and welcome to the best show that no one watches. I'm your host, Mr. Who Gives a Fuck. Please forgive my ragged appearance. I actually just woke up in a dumpster. And I thought it'd be a good idea to, make a video about pedophiles for some reason.
Currently, sex is suppressed and held to be dark.
If you still decided to click on this video after reading that title, congratulations! You are cool! We'll see if your stomach is strong enough to endure this entire video. You may need a puke bag. So Spooktober is over, and I hope you guys had a fun Halloween regardless of the current state of the world. But you know something? Witches, zombies, vampires, werewolves, all these creatures are child's play when it comes to the real monsters that walk among us. Pedophiles! What could be more sinister and evil than abusing an innocent child? Today I'll be doing a review on a documentary released in 1994 called ChickenHawk. But before we get to that, I'd like to announce that I just received my first sponsor, which means I'm now an official YouTuber. This video is brought to you by Fork! Fork! Fork is an incredible product with multiple uses that will bring joy and fulfillment into your life. Some of Fork's many uses include eating lasagna, stabbing people in the scrotum, eating cake, holding it threateningly while staring at strangers, pleasuring females, and cleaning your electrical outlets. Only recommended for suicidal customers. Fork! Get yours today! Oh god, they don't pay me enough for this shit. So from what I understand, the word ChickenHawk is a slang term used in the gay community that refers to an older gentleman that chases young boys. This documentary is incredibly creepy because it basically follows around members of a pedophile group called NAMBLA, and it gives us a real look into their twisted minds as they try to justify their perversions.
How many of the boys, for whom they were then in prison, came to visit the prisoner who had supposedly molested them as an expression of their affection for the person with whom they had a loving and consensual relationship.
Thank you for taking that moral and beating it over the head into the...
I believe most people have heard of NAMBLA by now, but just in case you haven't, the word NAMBLA is basically an acronym that stands for North American Man-Boy Love Association. South Park actually has a great episode where they poked fun at NAMBLA several years ago, and you should check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Anyway, I think the star of this documentary is definitely this guy, Leland Stevenson. Definitely the creepiest of the bunch, and it's really hard to imagine a more stereotypical pedophile. He fits the bill, you know? That perverted smile he carries around, his creepy voice, and that sweater. Oh god, that sweater. It's almost as bad as mine. I figure that if somebody was going to dress up as a pedophile for Halloween, it would probably look something like him. I do have good news though. Our boy Leland has been fucking dead since 2013. Now, right off the bat, the documentary starts off with Mr. Stevenson driving in his car, not only explaining what he likes about young boys, but he was also retelling a story where he had some sort of interaction with two boys in his town who were 12 and 13 years old.
Mike was 12, I believe, and Anthony 13 when I was driving along the road in West Virginia, and Mike flagged me down to give them a ride. And the wonderful thing about it was that there was no fuss at all. They both went out of their way to flirt in their own way with me, just with joyfulness. I mean, just to say, here's the play of life going on, and here is something that's not seen by others, but seen and appreciated by me and the people who are participating. We're having a little play together, a little game.
This guy is so delusional that he actually believes these two kids went out of their way to flirt with him simply because they took a car ride with him. In this opening scene, there's also a clip of these two kids being interviewed, and they basically say something along the lines of, "Man, that old guy's weird." Later in the film, a narrator gives us a little background info on Leland and lets us know what a good guy he is.
Leland has graduate degrees in law and philosophy. He has been a Mormon representative in Texas and a missionary in Hong Kong. In India, he photographed child pornography and was put in a California prison for 5 years.
Ah, yes, 5 years in prison for photographing child pornography. I guess we all need hobbies, right? One of the grossest and most disturbing scenes in this documentary is when Leland is describing an experience he had where he actually received oral sex from a young boy.
This boy simply did it in a magnificently gentle, tender sort of way in which you could sense he was putting his whole heart and life into this experience. That is what was so exceptional about it, and it produced a remarkable sensation, and I may say a rather speedy climax, in spite of the fact that it was being done in such a gentle way.
He also later goes into graphic detail about another sexual experience he had with a young boy during a camping trip. I'll spare you that particular scene, but in that story he also claims it was the young boy who arranged this trip and it was all his idea. Yeah, I'm fucking sure that's true, Leland. Fuck you. I hope you're enjoying your stay in hell, you piece of shit. Now, Leland's delusional mind is a persistent theme throughout this film, and I think that's best highlighted in a scene where he approaches a young boy at a payphone outside a shop. Take a look.
Oh, you made the phone ring? Oh, well, let's see how you did that.
Oh, jeez, you're just very record. No, you can get in trouble for doing that.
No, no.
Do this again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, not
You
bad.
answer it.
Hey, how can I get the secret?
Dial 660 is the last number of any y'all. Cool.
660, and what's the rest of it?
The last 4 digits of that phone number.
Of that phone. 660 plus the last 4 digits of that phone, and that'll do it.
Yeah, but you
Very
can't give
good.
it to anybody else.
Oh, goodness,
You
okay.
don't do it to the phone.
That'll be our secret then.
No, that's on video.
He was so eager to tell me when his birthday was, and he was going to be 15 in less than a month on the 1st of December, and this is what life is about. This is what real life is about. I would say that he was in bloom, and that's it. The flower is responding to warmth. That is, I as a human being am bathing him in a certain kind of celestial warmth, and he feels that, and he responds to that, and he thinks, oh, how nice, how wonderful that there's someone there who is appreciating what I am and who I am.
I know. It's hard to watch this shit. But be strong! I watched it, you can watch it too! One of my favorite scenes is when the filmmaker is interviewing one of Leland's neighbors inside his home. This guy just seems like a good old hard-working blue-collar southern fella, and Leland had a few past interactions with this man's children. The interviewer just straight up asks this guy what he would do if Leland was to do anything inappropriate with his kids. And the neighbor responds by very casually making the following statement. I'd probably kill him.
Honest, I probably would, if he would have bothered my kids. That's why one of the reasons I wanted him away from here, because he wouldn't seek any help to stop this problem that he has. And if he would have got a hold of my kids, it wasn't any good to kill him or 100 of them then. So that's why I was trying to just kind of preventive medicine, you might say, to get him out of town now.
In my humble opinion, I think that probably would have been a good decision made by that man. One of the most interesting scenes is when Leland and the NAMBLA crew go to the gay pride parade to try to integrate themselves into the LGBT movement. NAMBLA is organized, and their effort to leech onto the gay community to further their own cause is obviously a logical move for them. But unfortunately for NAMBLA, they are greeted by utter disgust and rejection from the pride parade.
We're happy to be here. We feel that historically we are part of this movement for liberation. If anybody looks at them and looks at us, then they'd have to say, well, it's all part of the rainbow, all part of the possibility of people living peacefully together, and that's what we're looking for.
But you understand that there isn't, that us or anybody else who's in this entire march today wants to have anything to do with those people back there.
We're not with those people. We're not with those people.
We're not with those people.
We don't want to be connected with those people.
We don't want to be associated.
I'm an incest survivor.
What do you think about it? Think the same?
These people are unfortunately borderline criminal behavior, and it is not representative of all of our community. They shouldn't be with us. They should be doing their own thing.
Another one of my favorite scenes is when one of the NAMBLA members is being harassed inside his own apartment building. There was a poster left on the wall with his picture on it that labeled him as a child molester. And also a group of protesters forms outside the building to yell obscenities at this man through his window with a megaphone.
Baby rapers, baby rapers, baby rapers. NAMBLA, 222 East 10th Street, Ronaldo Casio, come on out. You got any baby boys trained to the radiator up there? Come on, Ronaldo, let him go. Ho, ho, baby rapers gotta go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, baby rapers got Ronaldo, come on out, come on out. Show your faces, the neighborhood wants to meet you. We're gonna have a block party. Come on out, baby raper.
The part I find most amusing though is when this NAMBLA member is listening to really verbally abusive messages left on his answering machine. You can hear the utter disgust and hatred in this caller's voice.
You fucking baby fucking motherfucker. Your mother was a whore. You know who your father was? A fucking pimp. You lowlife son of a fucking cunt-licking bastard. You lowlife prick, you kike. You wait till the fucking parade. You're gonna put a bullet in your fucking head. You cocksucking baby fucker. Die of AIDS, baby fucker. Die of fucking AIDS. You fucking lowlife son of a fucking cunt-licking whore. Are you afraid of us? You fucking pussy. You fucking wuss. You fucking baby fucker. Remember, you are a baby fucker. You are a sexual deviant. You are mentally disturbed. If this was a sane society, you would be shot. But since we're living in a perverse society, animals like you are allowed to exist. Leave the kids alone, Renato. Leave the kids alone.
You know, I hate to admit it, but as much as these NAMBLA guys disgust me, I actually do admire them on some level. Let me finish before you crucify me in the comments! These guys are completely going against the grain and fighting for what they believe in a society that completely vilifies them and persecutes them for these beliefs. And that actually takes a lot of balls. It's just a shame that their entire cause is based around a horrific, unforgivable act. And they completely ignore the fact that young children aren't even biologically developed enough to even understand the concept of sexual consent. Leland's belief that children were constantly flirting with him is actually a great example of how mentally ill these guys are. It's really mind-boggling that he thinks children would even be sexually attracted to him at all. In any way. Not to mention the fact that I highly doubt there are any good parents out there that would be okay with their children engaging in sexual activity with an old man. NAMBLA can fuck off. Anyway, if you guys want to check out the whole movie, I left a link for you in the description of this video. The film actually has been praised by anti-NAMBLA groups because it basically exposes NAMBLA for what it is. And the members verbally hang themselves every time they try to explain their own cause. Thank you for watching, thanks for your time. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done that already. I will now leave you with some powerful words from the man who organized the NAMBLA protest.
My attitude is, I saw them as very pathetic, very sad when they came out of their meeting June 6th. And we have photos of them, and they were shamed. There were about 75 of us marching behind them, yelling out baby rapers, and all the windows were lifting up, and they were passing by a schoolyard, which is a typical scene where they like to pick up children, and their heads were down, and they knew they got caught. They knew they were doing wrong, okay? I felt no anger for these people. I felt sad for these sick people. But, on the other hand, if ever I caught any of them in the act, if I was just, let's say, fortunate enough, I would take no prisoners. When I was growing up, if there was any man, adult, talking to a young child about having sex with him, that person wouldn't be in the neighborhood anymore.